Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I'm Perry Newman. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Dorchester Bay Economic Development Corporation, and I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us today to celebrate the formal opening and dedication of Indigo Block. This morning, we'll hear from a number of our partners and friends representing the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, each of whom has played an essential role in developing and delivering Indigo Block. As you'll see, this has truly been an odyssey. But importantly, it has been a voyage with a very happy ending, and it is a testament to commitment and to perseverance. I'm fond of saying that things just don't happen, things are made to happen. And that is certainly true of this project, this voyage to what is now a truly wonderful destination. More than 7 years ago, the vision for a transit-oriented development that not only provided outstanding housing opportunities, but economic opportunities began to take shape. When Dorchester Bay was awarded the opportunity to develop this site, however, none of us had any idea that we would be challenged not only by the bumps in the road presented by every project, but by a pandemic that resulted not only in a public health emergency, but by periods of extensive quarantine, a construction freeze, supply chain disruptions, all taking place against the backdrop of unprecedented chaos in Washington. That we are here today is, as I said, a testament to commitment and to perseverance, but it is also an extraordinary example of people in government, people in business, people at mission-driven organizations, and most importantly, people in the community working together at every level for more than 7 years to make this project happen. I look forward to hearing from the mayor, the secretary, and other dignitaries shortly, and I know they will be far more eloquent and effective than I in recognizing those who played a critical role in this project. But I want to take just a moment to recognize a few individuals whose work cannot go without a specific mention from me. This project launched some time ago, as I said, and several Dorchester Bay colleagues, now ensconced elsewhere, played critical roles in the effort, and I'm speaking about Andy Waxman, Jessica Boatwright, Leo Whiteside, and John Mahoney. We thank you and we miss you. And I also want to mention two other Dorchester Bay alumni who, in their own ways, have played essential roles in making this project come to fruition. And I'm referring to my predecessor at Dorchester Bay, Jean Dubois, and also to Boston's Director of Neighborhood Development, Sheila Dillon. Sheila and Jessica, in particular at the city, have really helped to make this happen. And I must also recognize Dorchester Bay's extraordinary current real estate team, led by our Director of Real Estate Development, Beth O'Donnell, who has guided this project through the aforementioned unprecedented challenges of development, pandemic, and now to completion. If you haven't seen up close and personal the ups and downs of how these projects move forward, even in good times, to see one completed under these conditions and so successfully is truly impressive. Thank you, Beth. Now, we all recognize that while many of us here played a role in the bricks and mortar side of development, thank you, none of this happens without a community that stands up for itself, makes its presence and preferences known, stands by its neighbors, and pushes us all to do better and to be better. To our friends and neighbors in the community, and in particular at the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, thank you. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce the President of the Dorchester Bay Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors, Keith Greenaway. All CDC and community boards work hard, but it's even better if they work hard and they work smart. At Dorchester Bay, we are fortunate to have outstanding, consistent, supportive, and decisive board leadership. Please join me in welcoming our board president, Keith Greenaway.
Thank you, Perry. The check will be in the mail for that.
Can you call
those comments? Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here this morning. This is really a remarkable achievement of Dorchester Bay, as you would imagine, and we've done so with the support, important support of important partners, our financial partners, legal partners, and of course, our internal development team. But first, I would like to be able to just applaud and welcome two figures, public figures particularly, that are here right now. Mayor Janey, who's here with us, and Secretary Keneally. Mayor Janey has exemplified the qualities of an unwavering advocate for positive transformation of Dorchester in her well-executed and considerable stewardship as leader of this world-class city of Boston. And Secretary Keneally exemplifies those qualities that the governor has that is essentially a concern for communities such as ours as well. So we're happy to have them here today. I'd like to also applaud the leadership and the staff of Dorchester Bay. They should feel distinctly proud and a sense of achievement today. Indigo Block, as you can see, is a culmination of our talented staff's incredible vision, creativity, determination, and the collective stalwart commitment to improving the lives of ordinary citizens in Dorchester. In addition to our CEO, Perry Newman, who has led this organization valiantly for the past 5 years, we've had the pleasure of having the leadership of the real estate committee that is represented by Beth O'Donnell, who made a transition from the board into the leadership of the real estate committee, and she has really done a remarkable job. So I'd like to sort of give those persons all an applause. I would close by saying that we, as Perry pointed out, you know, an organization like this does require the hard work of a board, and we do have representatives of our board who are here today. I know that Rosalind is here. I know that Ms. Skinner is here. Leighton is here. And there may be a few others that I may not have seen, but I really thank you for being here today. Ms. Skinner, my apologies. I thought she's been here since 9:30. But Dorchester Bay will redouble its efforts from this point, not only to provide reasonable housing and facilitate the development of businesses within our communities, but also to make a difference in individual empowerment and the narrowing of the wealth and income gap to help boost the prospects of individuals and families within our communities for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. I now have the distinct pleasure to introduce an outstanding and consistent voice for housing and economic opportunity, an individual who has guided the city through an extraordinarily challenging time, and one of the truly indispensable partners who has helped us to bring us to this day. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Mayor Kim Janey.
Thank you so much, Perry. I want to thank you for your leadership, and I want to thank Dorchester Bay Economic Development Corp. Certainly thank you, Keith, and all the members of the board. It is a great honor to be here to celebrate yet another ribbon cutting around housing in our city. I want to recognize Secretary Mike Keneally. He could not be here, but certainly want to lift up and appreciate all of the work that the state does as a partner. I also want to thank my Chief of Housing, Sheila Dillon, for your extraordinary work, and the entire team of the Department of Neighborhood Development. Please give it up for Sheila. I also want to recognize the project manager, Julio Pillier, and the entire team. There is a lot to celebrate, and I am very proud to be here for the completion of Indigo Block. This project, as has been stated, has been a long time in the making, and it is the culmination of a partnership between community members, local stakeholders, government agencies, and private investors. I want to recognize and celebrate Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative for all of their work. Thank you. Let's give it up to them again. I also want to recognize the team of developers, certainly including Dorchester Bay Economic Development Corp. and their staff. I also want to lift up Beth for her work. I want to thank Rich at Boston Capital Development and Mai at Escazu Development. None of this would be possible without funding from the state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Mass Housing, Boston Private Bank, Eastern Bank, and the Life Initiative. All of this hard work, all of this work was created through the partnership and has led to 89 new housing opportunities right here in Dorchester. I'm gonna wait the plane as well. Exactly. 80 of these units are dedicated affordable rental opportunities, and we also have home ownership opportunities, which will be right across the street and will be completed soon. Folks who know me know that housing is an important part of my story. I spent much of my life right here in this community. In fact, I live just a couple of blocks away right now currently, and did so again as a young single mom while living in subsidized housing. I was able to buy my home through a first-time home buyers program. And so anytime that we are seeing more opportunities for affordable housing in our city, for home ownership in our city, I believe it is a great day in our city. And we need to make sure that everyone who wants to call Boston home can do so. So until everyone can afford housing, our work of creating affordable housing is not done. I want to thank everyone, again, who has been involved in this project, everyone from the city, the state, our private partners, and especially to the people, to the residents of this neighborhood for making this possible, where we are ensuring that we are creating equitable, affordable housing right in this neighborhood and in neighborhoods all across the city of Boston. Let's keep doing this work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Janey. Our next speaker has had a seat at the table, maybe the head of the table, for the many years this project has been in development. He and his colleagues have been patient, supportive, reasonable, and driven by the mission to deliver this beautiful and important community asset. Please join me in welcoming Rich Mizaki, Managing Director of Boston Capital Development.
Well, good morning to everyone on this very special day to celebrate the opening of Indigo Block. We're thrilled to see so many people here today to celebrate with us, and we appreciate Mayor Janey's participation in the event. I would first like to acknowledge and thank all of the stakeholders in the project. Kate Racer and her team at DHCD, Sheila Dillon and her team at the City of Boston's DND, Crystal Cornehay and the Mass Housing team, and all of the financing partners, including Eastern Bank, Boston Private, and the Life Initiative. Your tremendous support throughout the pre-development planning process, as well as your financial commitments, allowed us to move forward with Indigo Block. We truly appreciate it. As Perry mentioned in his remarks, the construction of Indigo Block was not without challenges, given the COVID pandemic. We're grateful to have a phenomenal construction and design team to help us navigate through that period. They went above and beyond to deliver. Their ability to manage schedule impacts from COVID, supply chain issues, and meanwhile keep in touch with safety protocols was amazing. So a special thank you to the construction and design team, the contractor NEI, and their team at Indigo Block, Chris Cormier, Mike Thayer, and Ken Calder. The architect, Davis Square Architects, Cliff Bomer, Daryl Aldrich, and Brendan Rhodes. And our invaluable owner's project manager, CS2CNE, Nat Haley, and Mike Matissanat. Thank you. I would like to take a minute to speak on behalf of the development team that has been on the ground devoted to Indigo Block at various points since the inception of this project in 2014. These are team members including Beth O'Donnell, Andy Waxman, Leah Whiteside, and John Mahoney from Dorchester Bay, and Mai Lamb from Escazu Development. Over the course of 7 years, working together on a project, you get to know your partners pretty well. I can say without a doubt that we've formed long-lasting bonds. Not only were we tracking design and budgets, but also trying to keep track of new additions to families. At one point during the development planning process, we realized that one of our team members, Leah Whiteside, and her husband welcomed their first 2 children to their family. Meanwhile, we were still working on to close the Indigo Block project. Time was flying by as we celebrated the new additions to Leah's family. I hope that Calvin and Ruby, now 5 and 2, will get a tour of Indigo Block soon. We all brought something slightly different to the table based on our experiences, which helped to form a team that resulted in creative thinking and synergy to help bring this project to fruition. It takes a tremendous amount of patience and perseverance, working through the twists and turns that come with the development of this complexity. There was never a question in our minds as to whether Indigo Block would happen. It was just a matter of when. I would also like to acknowledge Jack Manning, Boston Capital's founder. Having worked for Jack for over 25 years, his unwavering support for affordable housing initiatives has always held true, and he was instrumental in supporting Indigo Block throughout the development process. In closing, I know that everyone here today has a special connection to the positive impact of this type of development on our community. I know that I can speak for my partners at Dorchester Bay and Escazu by saying that we're all proud to be part of a larger team that has transformed a vacant piece of land into something that will be so meaningful for 80 families, 9 new homeowners, and small businesses that will thrive in this neighborhood. Thank you.
I was thinking to myself that those who complain that the Indigo Block doesn't have sufficient frequency should have been here this morning, right? The Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, or DSNI, is in so many ways, and forgive me for quoting a famous New York Yankee, Reggie Jackson, the straw that stirs the drink. Things don't happen without DSNI and their valuable community voice. When I said that DSNI helps us to do better, I meant it. So please join me in welcoming DSNI's Executive Director, John Smith.
Good morning. First, I'd like to say, welcome, Ms. Mayor. Thank you for being here, and thanks. It's nice to see all of you. I am not the straw that stirs the drink, however. We have 2 of the straws that stirred the drink, because when this project was started, I was not here as Executive Director, but when the project was started, DSNI and Dorchester Bay got together, and Jose Barros, who's standing right there, and Tony, actually Jose just retired after 27 years at DSNI. So Jose and Tony were instrumental in helping to plan for this. So you've seen something come to fruition. So I'd like to thank you for all your work. And the rest of the DSNI team who's standing back there knew and bet me that when I started speaking, all the trains would go by. You just lost the bet. So anyway, DSNI and Dorchester Bay share the same values of the creation of more transit-oriented, affordable housing with a strong focus on equity and development without displacement. This was the idea when they started planning, right, that they brought to the table. And, because we have a land trust and because we do community organizing, we always put the folks at the community first. And so what they talked about in terms of planning this development was, this development would create more money being spent in our communities. It would basically enable for folks to invest in their future by staying within the community. So another long-term economic benefit that was discussed and that really shows here is that, the benefit of affordable housing is the chance to decrease childhood poverty, and that providing children with a better and more stable and equitable path forward is a way to really invest in our future community. So DSNI and Dorchester Bay, with Perry and all the leadership of the city, we will continue to advocate for people and community. So thank you so much.
And now to represent the Commonwealth and to underscore the critical role that mass housing has played in this and in so many projects that improve the quality of life for thousands and thousands of residents, it's my pleasure to introduce Mark Teeden, Vice President of Multifamily Programs at Mass Housing. Mark.
Oh, what a crowd. This is great. welcome to everybody. On behalf of Crystal Cornegay and the balance of Mass Housing staff, we're very pleased to have played a role in this project. It is a long time coming, 2015. It was a complex partnership put together to do a complex project. What we're all learning is that the benefits of the housing that gets produced at the end of a process like this is so much enhanced when there's a community, when the thought of community is also incorporated into this. And so we have home ownership and rental, mixed income, commercial development, use of a vacant lot, transit-oriented development. It's just an incredible accomplishment. It's very hard to do this. And as testament, there are no less than 14 sources of funds in this deal. But in order to accomplish something of this magnitude, it takes this level of commitment by many. I also would give kudos to NEI and the design team. They built this through the pandemic. I mean, we have, again, we had a whole portfolio of projects under development in Boston, and every single one of them that NEI was on, and it was quite a few, they really stood on their heads and pulled every project through with as minimal impact as was, I think, eminently practical. I'd also like, just because I don't think they get enough thanks anyway, I'd also like to thank our colleagues at DHCD, Kate Racer, Undersecretary Maddox and team, as well as our partners and colleague at the city, Sheila and Jessica. I've been privy to some of their behind-the-scenes work, only a fraction of it, I think, and it's enormously impressive, the work that they do. They don't get nearly enough credit for the impact they have on the residents of this state in making it a better place to live. So I think we should give another hand to them. And Perry, thank you for the opportunity of being able to thank all the parties on behalf of Mass Housing.
When you say transit,
That's right.
development.
We are a transit hub right here. So that concludes the formal program, but before you drown me out in your elation at hearing me no more, please note that if you are interested in touring the residential space or the commercial space, please linger for a moment or two after the program so we can organize small groups to walk through the building. I want to thank you, all of you, the mayor, all of our partners, the Dorchester Bay Board, for... Okay, good. Oh, this is good. But I have to be a little nimble on my feet here because we weren't sure this was going to happen. So among our speakers that I think is not only worth waiting for, but in many respects, the reason that we're here. It's only fitting that our final speaker is in many respects the most important speaker because he's a resident of the community, and not just any community, this community. Deshaun White has just moved into Indigo Block, and we are hopeful that for Deshaun and so many others, Indigo Block becomes a home, a community, and a place in which to build a solid future. Can I ask Deshaun to come?
Good morning, everybody that came out. I'm a little nervous. There's a lot of people. Forgive me. Being a single father of a little girl that's 13, I want to give everybody, let know everybody here, I'm going to appreciate that we got a chance to move into Indigo Block, to, have a stable house, that's something that my daughter could call home, finally. I'm happy. I'm from the community. I love the community. And this is one of the best things that happened to the community. As I wanted to give thanks to everybody that had a part in the program of building the Indigo Block. I'm just so happy that I got a chance to be here, somewhere I can call home myself. I can wake up every morning and not worry about nothing. And I just want to give thanks to Dorchester Bay, the WIN staff, and again, everybody that had something to do with this. This is a blessing, and I hope more programs like this can be introduced to the community for low-income people like me. and more to come. I'm just want to say thank you to everybody.
Well, it's really wonderful to end a program on such a high note, to be reminded of the reason that we do this work and the great things that good partnerships can bring. So if those who are interested would like to linger for a moment, we're arranging some tours of both the commercial space and the residential space. And I want to close simply by thanking you, all of you, for helping to make Indigo a reality and for making this day such a success for all of us, of course, but more importantly for the wider community. Thank you for coming.